Today we're going to talk about the new Onyx Boox. Actually, this is the N96 series. There is a larger version of this, but it pretty much does the same thing as this one, which is a 13-inch one. This is a 9.7. And this one runs Android. It is not touchscreen. It is an e-ink display. As you can see, here's some of the information. It runs Android, so you can install Android apps on it. And here is the list of specs. So it is by a company named Onyx, but they seem to just go by Boox most of the time right now. And we're going to talk about this one today and what I like or don't like about it. So let's talk about the Boox reader by Onyx. So let's look at the outside of this device. So we have physical buttons here on the side, as you can see. This is the menu, this is for backwards, forwards, and then this is kind of like a return for the apps. The device itself is not super thick, but it is a little heavy. The back is metallic feeling, but it's plastic, so it will scratch. It did come with a case, so you can put it in there. This little area is for your pen, which you do need because this version is pen only. I can't do anything with my fingers on it. And as you can see on the bottom, power button for your auxiliary, charging, and a micro SD card. So let's turn this one on so you can see. You have to hold the power button on the bottom, and then the device will turn on. It is an e-ink display, so it is very different from your iPhone or your iPad or any device that has color. This is very much like a Kindle. So let it start up. It takes a little while to start up, but the nice thing about these devices is you do not have to turn them off as often as you would with something like an iPad, because it will last you a whole lot longer than leaving the iPad on. This will last you days on end without an issue, especially if you're not doing a whole lot with it. It's going to last you a very long time. I've had it for about a week and I've only had to charge it once, and I technically didn't have to charge it. It's just, it is a habit of me of connecting things. So to charge it, you connect the bottom part over here. It's just a micro SD. It came with its own cable, but you can use any cable for it that is micro. So this is the Onyx startup screen. It does run Android. I am running the latest version of Android that the device will support. It does have all these buttons here on the bottom, which are pretty easy to figure out what is what. So you have your library, and that's where you would have all your books, because it pretty much is just a giant Kindle. It's a 9.7-inch Kindle. It's a little heavy to hold and just read. I like to hold my Kindle like this to read, but this one does get a little heavy. You have your storage, your applications. Remember, the applications can be installed from the Android library from Google Play. And it has a light, because this one does have a light that turns on and off. Right now it is actually off or very, very low. It's kind of hard sometimes to tell. Actually, it's high. It's just my lights are very, very bright. So let's reduce the brightness, which you can't really see unless I turn off the lights, but it is actually a decent brightness. So the light does come in handy if you want to read in the dark or you want to take notes in the dark. So this is light. Have all your settings, and these are pretty easy and self-explanatory. You go in here so you can go into your network and your languages and everything. This one came preset with English being the language, but you can change it to a couple other languages. You can go back, and up here it's also your home button. And then you have, of course, your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi, your battery life, and then running programs and all sorts of just other little things over here. And so we're going to go to the applications. Remember, you have to use the pen because nothing works with your finger, because this is the pen version only, because the pen version was the one that came with both the light up screen and the pen. If I picked the just touch screen, I wouldn't have the light, and the light was actually very important for me because I work in low light settings. So the main idea for this was to have a digital sketchbook that I could either sketch or take notes on. So if I could have used it just for notes, I would have been happy, but I was a little disappointed with this. So I went ahead and I tried to install things such as Sketchbook, because it will run Android programs, Papyrus, Incredible, and Squid. It doesn't run any of them well, which is actually really disappointing. But I kind of expected that because it is e-ink and the refresh rate isn't fantastic. So we're going to actually try out their Note program, which is the one that came with the actual device. So here, as you can see, I've been testing different pages and just trying to write stuff over and over just to see if I could figure out what was going on with the pen itself. So you can calibrate the pen, and they talk about that the pen has pressure sensitivity, and the company kept on saying yes, but I don't know if it has to do with my pen might be faulty, or they changed something with the new updates, but it is not pressure sensitive. And I really want to push this, because this pen looks like it would be, and they talk about how it is pressure sensitive, but you cannot see any of the pressure sensitivity on the app that they provide called Note. They used to have one called Onyx Scribble that you can find online, videos of it, and it shows like it did have pressure sensitivity a while back, but I don't know if they went ahead and they changed Onyx Scribble to replace it with this new program called Note, and they completely removed the capability of doing anything with pressure sensitivity. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So use your pen. We're going to add a new page, and this is your page. So you can go ahead and start writing. Here on the bottom, you can go ahead and add pages, and then go to the next page. We only have one page because right now it is just a blank page. And we have these little buttons over here to take note of. So if you look at these buttons, this one made a lot of sense when I looked at it right away. This one did too. These two were kind of a guessing game for me until I clicked on them. So the first one is just a pencil, so you can go ahead and take notes. This one is to make lines, triangles, circles, and squares. That makes sense, easy enough after you know what everything is. To pick things, you just go over the image and you click on it. So let's go back to pen. Let's go to the t-shirt. And here you can pick a blank page like we have right now. And then you can pick lines, you can pick squares. I mean, you can change all this. So go ahead and change it to that. Change it to this, which is fantastic if you want to take notes. So let's go ahead and use this, because this is what I really wanted to use it for, was to take notes in a digital type of either sketchbook or notebook. So we're going to use it as a notebook right now, because the size was perfect for writing. If this had been pressure sensitive as advertised, I would have kept this device. But right now, this is the biggest reason why this device is going back. So let's go ahead and go to this section, which this makes sense because it looks like varying degrees of thickness. So it made sense that it was different pens that you could choose from. So you have your thin pen all the way to your thick pen, and then you can click on this one and you can choose the thickness of line when you're drawing. And I think oh, that's strange. I guess I can write right on top. Usually 4 seems to be the biggest one. Okay, so that was already writing on top and I did not know that. So let's go ahead and write something over here so you can see. When I write, it is actually pretty quick, so here you go. Okay, this is something that I do want to talk about. I didn't draw this line, it just appeared. It will have issues with straight lines. Usually you can use the eraser and go back, but sometimes it doesn't seem to work. So we're gonna go to the bottom. We're going to pick an eraser. See if it erases it. These are little things that I've been having issues with. See, that one erased the whole thing. So let's go back, make sure we've picked the pencil, and we can take notes. Let's pick something a little bit thicker, so an in between. So this looks terrible. And yes, my handwriting, I was just quickly writing it. It isn't fantastic, but this looks bad. The way I can describe this is if you grab the pen and you were drawing or sketching on your Nintendo DS where it has no pressure, that's not acceptable for notes, at least for me. It is quick, but because it doesn't capture the way that I actually write, I can't say it's a good device for sketching or for note taking or pretty much for anything that involves actually grabbing the correct strokes of when you're drawing or just writing. So let's do another one so you can see, and let's change the thickness. Let's do one a little bit thicker. So, see, sometimes it will do what it feels like it. Testing it out. So yes, it will work to a point, but it just doesn't feel good. So I'm not a giant fan of this. I can't suggest it for writing. If you don't mind that it doesn't have pressure sensitivity, then I guess that's fine, and then you can use it, but I think this is something that could have easily been improved on. So I just assumed, well, maybe it's the program. The program might just be bad. So let's go use something else. So I did. But this is the issue that we have with ink displays like this e-ink displays. So we're gonna go back. And you can actually go back with this button too. I'm just used to clicking on it. We're going to use Autodesk Sketchbook. It will load, takes a little while. As you can see, it is taking a while to refresh things, and this is where you will see the problem. So it sees that it is for Android because we are running Android. And here is Sketchbook on an e-ink display, which is neat that it actually works to a point. And I mean, you can't pick any other colors because it's pretty much black and white. So we're gonna go ahead and draw a line. You can see what I'm talking about. There is tons of lag. And technically it looks like it has pressure, but this is just a pen that the program has. So it's like a fake pressure based on where you start and where you end. So I wouldn't judge it completely off of this. So this is the thing. So let's make it a little bit thicker so you can see. But see how everything is just kind of laggy? Doesn't follow the pen very well. And then it leaves these little circles. Of course, this program isn't made for this, but I wanted to see if anything was actually picking up the pressure. It is not picking up the pressure whatsoever. So this program, nope, can't use it because, I mean, look at this. It's like lag city, come on. So you can't use it at all on this one. See, I wish that you could, because this would have been a really interesting sort of sketchbook that you could sketch at night, and I mean, you wouldn't have to really charge, and with Bluetooth and everything, it made a whole lot of sense for notes and for sketches. A lot of these programs that are not made for this are very slow, which means they don't work very well. So this one, it's loaded up, you can kind of see the lines. Let's see. See how laggy this is. Testing. Not great for note taking, which is terrible because the program itself looks pretty solid, looks easy to use, and this would have been really nice to just take notes with it. But this one is extremely laggy. This is pretty much the issue I found with all the other programs that are not the note-taking program that came with the device. They're all laggy. So we're gonna go back and get out of here. So anything that didn't belong to the actual device is different looking, so you can see it there. Pretty much it means it doesn't work. Play Store loads up just fine, but finding things that actually work with this device are extremely complicated. So we're going to click on other things like the browser. The browser works without an issue. It takes forever to load up stuff, but it's an e-ink display, so don't expect much. This is when I was actually looking for the Scribbler program to see what happened to it since it's gone. So you can see other programs here. This is how everything loads up. Browsing, it's okay. It's just really slow. So I wouldn't sit here and go crazy browsing on this thing because it's just laggy. So back home, we're over here. So we're actually going to go to reading material so you can see how this actually works. Sometimes depending on the way that you press the pen, if you hit it too much to the side, it won't read it correctly. So that's why you'll see me kind of jamming it forward. See, I was writing little things because you can actually take little notes throughout the pages, which I thought was actually really neat. So that way, if you're reading something, you can make a small little annotation on the side. But again, no pressure whatsoever, kind of hard to write stuff, and it sort of did an okay job. And they stay there, so it's like you actually doing marks on the book. So you can scroll through the pages, go from page to page, and reading, it's fantastic as a reading device. There's no problem with it. It's a nice size. You can actually look at a bunch of things here on the bottom. You can zoom in, zoom out. I mean, navigation, you can take notes. I mean, the rotations, all this stuff. There's all these little things that you can actually do with it, which are really nice. So as an ebook reader, no problem. See, it's actually pretty quick. And the buttons here on the side are nice because you can just hold it like this to read, and then you just click on them. So for reading purposes, great. Note-taking purposes, which is why it has this pen, it is horrible. So no. If you really like this device and you want the size and everything, just go with the touchscreen version, because that way you don't have to worry about the pen. It does come with a pen for the touchscreen version, but you can use the pen and you can use your finger. So let's go back. Here, all the books that you would be reading would come up here. I just had the instruction manual, so it's the only thing that you see there. See, I clicked it on the side and it went back. So let's go back. So we're gonna go into storage. Let's go see what's in here. So you have your SD card and you have all the other stuff for storage. So you can save things in here. I don't have anything in there. I had an SD card, which I thought I had to do an update, but I didn't. Doing updates for the device, sometimes you have to do them with an SD card if it doesn't do it automatically. So just gotta keep checking for updates. This is pretty much cut and dry. It's just your storage. Not like super cheap either. I mean, I would rather go with a Kindle. If the pen had worked, I would have said 100% yes, because it is still a $300 item, and you can get them on eBay. You can get them on Amazon. I got this one on eBay, but I just don't like it for the whole reason that this thing doesn't do what it says it's supposed to do, which is pretty much be able to write with pressure sensitivity, and it's not there, which is not great. So I think this one, for me personally, is a pass. I don't really suggest it because personally the price is too high and the pen is just subpar. So I would say if you're going to be taking notes on a digital device, just stick to the iPad or stick to something else, because this is, even though it's under $400 mark, I still don't recommend this thing. Plus it's heavy. So that's the part that I actually didn't like. It felt really uncomfortable in my hand. And I thought, at first I thought the back was some sort of metal, but it's actually plastic. So aside that this back is going to get like super scratched up, unless you have a cover for it, which it did come with it, because I did get it on eBay, and it took forever to get here. The cover is actually really pretty. They have a really nice design on it, but just not impressed. So I would say, yeah, it's 100% a pass for me on this one. If you guys have any questions about this, just be sure to ask. I hope to answer any questions that you guys have, but I would say get a Kindle and stick to a sketchbook or a notebook to take notes for now. So this one is almost there, but not 100%. There are other ebook readers that I want to check out first before I can completely say no ebook readers for me that I can write on. The Sony paper was a awesome idea when they released that one, but it's extremely expensive, and I'm looking for something in the 9.7 area. There's another company called Remarkable that's going to be releasing something later in the year, and I'm very interested in that, so we will see. So if you have any questions, be sure to ask, and I hope this helped a little bit. And happy hunting if you guys are going to be looking for fun ebook readers. And if you have suggestions for ebook readers that you can write on, since I'll be looking for that, be sure to leave a comment in the section below. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to comment, subscribe, and link my video around. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.